Hello, crypto YouTubers. This is CoinPicker.us, and I've got a great update today. We're going to cover a bit about where the market is relative to where I've expected it to be, and everything is pretty well unfolding as I've been talking about, and I think we're setting up for a very nice rally in the not too distant future. Then we're going to cover some trends that are fascinating in the implications and bode extremely well for long-term crypto investments. Stay tuned. Welcome back. On a weekly basis, we are distinctly oversold, yet we haven't touched the lower boundary here, so we've still got a bit more of a range that we could traverse down into the 6,7,500 range, somewhere in that area. I know if those of you who are hodling, this is of course a painful scenario. If those of you who are trading, which is what my service is oriented towards, including long-term holding, but I make sure you're aware that we're reaching a point where if you want to take profits, it would be a good opportunity. But what we're going to see, I think, is potentially a bit more downside. We're going to get slightly into the oversold area in CCI. This will have been dramatically oversold. EFI will have dropped considerably lower, potentially. And then we're going to see a bounce up, and that is going to be a powerful bounce up. The reason it's going to be a powerful bounce up is, precisely what we see in situations like this or here, where the market has dislocated to the downside excessively. We haven't seen enough capitulation yet on a weekly basis. I think we could still continue down. I know I was saying that before. On a daily basis, we are bouncing off some lower bounds. Not all that surprising. And on a daily basis, we're trending to an upside bias. That's what we have, trending to an upside bias. But the weekly one is the more germane one because we're definitely overextended on the weekly. We have a little bit more to go for the CCI. We're not quite there on the EMAs, but that's not all that unexpected because most of our trend has been above the line. So relatively speaking, we are sort of at an extreme in this area. EFI is not at an extreme low point. It could go farther down. CCI definitely could. So that's why I'm saying we have some room to go down further. But I'm very much confident in the trade that as we go further down, even 7,500 area or somewhere in that neighborhood, potentially even further, but not that much more, because we'll be bouncing against the lower limit, we will have an outstanding trading opportunity for a potential double of your money. And that is what I'm setting up for. So let's move beyond that now. I'm not even going to bother with Ethereum and Litecoin. They're all not showing significant relative strength. In my newsletter, if you sign up in there, I have picked out several projects. Here it is. If you go to coinpicker.us, I have picked out several projects that are in my newsletter for the long-term holding. And when the membership is open, then short-term trades will also be included and some more refinement on the long term. But that's where you go, coinpicker.us to sign up. But let's talk about something else I found tremendously exciting. All right, check this out. So here are the Google Trends. In Google Trends, you'll note, for instance, if we go to Bitcoin, you'll note that we peaked right about the point that the market peaked. Okay, so December 17th, 23rd, and these dates are not exact by a long shot, but if you look at say we go back here to monthly, it's not going to show us that accurately enough. Long and short of it is you're going to get a lot of Bitcoin searches when the market is red hot, and as the market drops, the interest drops, and it's a circular loop. The market begins to drop because people aren't searching for it, people aren't trying to buy in. You have money leaving the market as opposed to entering the market. Okay, so Bitcoin, there's no surprise that the trend is now where it was, slightly above, but not all that far from where it was, call it a year ago now almost. Not quite that low, but in the neighborhood. Litecoin is slightly above, but same boat, basically same boat. But here's where it gets interesting. If you also check cryptocurrency, it's higher. It hasn't gone down as far. Now, why is that interesting? This is what nails it right here. Blockchain. Look at that. Blockchain is still much higher, much higher. It's dropped, but not significantly. Now, what is the reasoning? Why is that the case? And I'll tell you why. This is my assessment. Because blockchain is the application of cryptocurrency and the application of smart contracts and projects entering the real world. So the projects entering the real world are separate from the speculative froth, which was admittedly in the cryptocurrency market, and there's still some of that there. But the applications aren't going away, even though a lot of the value out of the cryptocurrency market has crashed. The applications are gaining and gaining. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing this trend is an uptrend. This means, for anybody paying attention in investing land out there, that investing in the crypto projects that have real world applications, some of them are on my list, many of them are on my list, real world applications entering into the marketplace, sales teams, integration teams, advertisements or advertisements, they're gaining acceptance. That is where the uptrend is, friends. That is where the uptrend is. The Bitcoin, where you're just buying in and hoping it to go up, obviously that has had a peak. I think it will continue to go up, as I've mentioned. Litecoin is in the same boat, only worse. Cryptocurrency is a derivative sort of blockchain. Nobody invests strictly in cryptocurrency. Nobody invests in blockchain. They look up what the blockchain does. How can I use it? How is it going to impact my life? They look up what cryptocurrency is. How is it going to impact my life? Obviously, we had a major peak. It's dropped down. Not really much of an uptrend there, but definitely more than if you go directly into the currencies, Bitcoin and Litecoin. So that is an interesting footnote, and it reflects in the prices of some of the projects that I have highlighted in my newsletter because they have outperformed. And one of them, or I should say a class that I have identified, has just rocketed outperform. Just done, the market's down 15%. Some of the projects I've talked about are up 40 that day, literally that day. So that means it has to be up, relatively speaking, 55% in a day because Bitcoin is taking 15% out of it. So very exciting, and this is the backroom mentality, the backroom thinking that's going into it. People are now transitioning out of just thinking of cryptocurrency as currency and thinking of them in terms of blockchain applications. If you agree with me or disagree, I'm really curious to hear your comments below on this theory and what it means in terms of investing for you. Now, I know what it means in terms of investing for myself and my subscribers, and I'll go into detail on that in my newsletters. But I thought it was pretty interesting to notice that. So I will talk to everybody tomorrow.